On that note, good morning, oddities. Yes, it is us doing this show again, our spin-off show again. I
Yes.
feel like we do this more than our main show anymore. Procrastination. That
Yeah.
that could be
We
our whole
we
topic.
promise we have episode 200 coming soon.
It's
We've just
coming.
we've just been really busy and
It's just
it's more work than a
it's
regular episode.
busy and it's a lot more work than we intended or than I
Well,
remembered.
I think no, I remember it being this much work before, but last time we were had more time for this sort of stuff
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
that's a good
episode
way to put it.
100.
Time, effort, care,
Yeah.
motivation, general motivation. But but no, it's gonna be a banger, trust me,
Yes, yes.
when it's put together. Uh, but no, I think this is a good moment to talk about some big news.
Uh-huh.
There's been protest. The people, what are the people saying, Colton?
They're
What are they
saying
saying?
they're saying $80 is too much for a kart racer.
Yes.
That's what the protests
See,
are all
you didn't
about.
fall for my trap.
Um,
Yes, that's what the protests are about. It's
yeah, all of them. They're not
all
about
of
much more
them.
serious social
Yeah.
political things.
Everything you've seen.
I
Yeah, not much more serious socio-economical
yeah,
uh international politics.
but
Nothing like that.
last time we went on a political tirade on this show, we ended up not posting that episode at all. So we're gonna avoid that
Yeah.
and talk
Well,
about video
this is
games
still
instead.
this is going to be a bit of a political tirade. Uh,
There, some stuff might slip through, but
it's the Nintendo or
no,
Nintendo or
uh,
Nintendo. But
Sega
anyways,
does what Nintendo.
yeah, exactly. But they don't really exist. Well, they do weird mobile games and casino games, and
They're
well,
doing
they'll do a
stuff.
Sonic game and they'll do the Sonic movies.
I've not seen any of the Sonic movies, but I've heard they're good.
I just know
Pretty
James
fun.
Marsden is coming back as Cyclops, and I want him driving in a van with another CGI character,
Yes. Bring
preferably
Sonic into
Rocket
the
or so.
MCU. Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah, like all those
Um,
memes, the Doomsday cast reveal, of all the different chairs,
mhm.
now starring Shrek, now
Shrek.
starring, uh,
Well, Shrek 5 is coming out this
yeah,
year, isn't it?
and they're like, oh, and Zendaya's in it, and the animation is it's a little different
It looks
than you
fine.
remember. It's a little bit more cutesy cartoony,
I think I
slightly.
saw
I don't
people complaining about
hate
it,
it.
and I was just like, it's fine.
I don't hate it, but it is off.
Yeah.
I'd rather just kind of Forever After, where it's just a more high res
I
version of the
I
original
don't I don't
animation.
even want
It's
a
the
more high.
original animate, but
No,
that's
no,
what makes it quirky and
not
weird,
even
the kind of
not even
uncanny,
a
or
high
just
res
the
like
2002 graphics.
just potato graphics. Yeah, just
Right.
let's do
Art,
that.
well, I was kind of I thought they could have gone all in on the Puss in Boots Last Wish art style.
They probably should have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you're saying that,
Um
that's probably where they should have gone with it.
I I think people would have accepted that. They're like, "Yes, this is different, but it's good."
Yeah, I think so.
We accept this.
I,
It's not treading on old ground or disrespecting the old animation by trying to upgrade it because that's kind of
yeah,
what this looks like, but not exactly. It's not like it's
it's
still different
been
enough.
I mean it looks fine. It still looks like Shrek, but
It's too nice looking. He
it
looks
looks
too
like it's
nice.
been a little like minionified.
Minionified. I think
Yeah,
yeah, that's
like
a good because
Despicable Me
Illumination's
type
doing
of
it.
yeah.
It's a
Which
little
eh,
they're a little cuter, a little rounder. Well, Shrek's always been round, but Donkey's a bit cleaner looking, fuzzier.
mhm.
But
I don't know, maybe it'll be
it
good
doesn't
though.
bother me. But and I did not know this conversation was going there. That's what I love about this podcast. And I've enjoyed a little bit of the spirits, well, the herb earlier, but not the spirits, the herb. But Zendaya's character, she's gonna be, like, oh, I'm gonna go off on my own and go on my own adventure. I don't need parents.
Probably.
And
Yeah.
then she's gonna run off, and then Shrek and Donkey are gonna have to go on another adventure to
Yeah.
track down Shrek's daughter, and shenanigans ensue, and or maybe Lord Farquaad's daughter
Yeah.
comes into the mix, or or
Oh,
his son or
it's
whatever.
it's probably going to be one of
uh,
those movies where from the first scene we you get a good idea of what's going to happen.
yeah.
Um, that's fine. That's okay. Sometimes that's okay. We've been watching Power Rangers still.
Is it gonna be like the Minecraft
Um,
movie or a Minecraft movie where people go just for the memes of
yeah.
it? Like, and then you'll have
I mean,
extremely confused parents
I
and then
mean
kids
we've
that are genuinely excited for it. Because, like,
yeah.
the Minecraft movie, which I heard isn't really good or has much substance to it, but it's doing really well.
And
But I heard it
people
actually
people
is
seem to
kind
be
of
enjoying it.
good. I heard
Yeah.
it does have a lot of it pays
I saw
homage to a lot
one.
of old YouTubers, like in one that passed away, Technoblade. Like they paid
Yeah.
tribute to him, and they
Hmm.
do all and they have all the references, and Jack Black is saying all the references.
Yeah.
Flint and Steel, I am Steve.
Herobrine, all that.
uh,
I saw one film critic.
Water Bucket,
They summed it up.
Chicken Jockey.
Well,
I,
there's
I
one. It was they said they summed it up as it's one of the they said it's one of the stupidest films I've ever seen, but people in the audience were cheering,
yeah,
and then he goes,
yeah.
and I was watching it in
I
England. They don't cheer for films in
right.
England.
I want to see it
I kind
now.
of want to go see
No,
it.
I'm gonna take my nephew, so I probably will see it. And but I wish I would have seen the opening weekend for all that.
Yeah,
Because, but I'm gonna yell chicken jockey.
yeah.
I'm gonna I'm gonna
Yell
yell
the
I am Steve when
yell
it's
the memes.
yeah, all the memes.
Um,
But I heard Jack Black is just Jack Black, but turned to 11 Jack Black. Like the director who did Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre, so they've worked
oh,
together.
nice.
But and he has just a weird, awkward sense of humor, and which
Yeah.
clashes with the very corporate graphics of the movie, and which I heard you get used to it.
Uh-huh.
The like high res Minecraft graphics.
It
Uh, it,
looks weird. I don't
the
I'm sure you do
the
get used to it, but
fan theory is that Jack Black Steve has put hundreds of hours into Minecraft, of course, and he's modded it.
oh yeah.
He's got like thousands of mods loaded.
It's just a Minecraft modder with ENBs and
Yeah,
high res
yeah.
texture
That's
packs.
the like
Um
in lore explanation why it looks like that.
I'm sure, yeah. That's what Minecraft 2 is gonna look like.
God.
It's gonna
Uh,
look like the Minecraft
have you
movie.
seen the visual update for Minecraft? Like the official, they
Oh yeah,
have a new
yeah.
official update, and it's basically just like Minecraft, but with actual native
Yeah.
like
Like
God rays and
you can
stuff.
like actually like turn on all the god rays and stuff
Yeah,
like
and it's
that.
like
I've
talking,
not played around with it. I've
and it
seen
it
stuff
looks
online.
like it looks right though. Like it doesn't.
My Minecraft
It's
is one of those games that I
excuse me.
played the hell out of it when I was in like high school and middle school.
Oh yeah,
Like and
countless hours.
I was playing during the beta like before I think it was like the right before Hunger was added into the game is when I started playing it.
Wow. Yeah, it
And
was a couple years after that.
I put hundreds of hours into it. And these days it's one of those games like I still like it, but honestly, it's like I'll boot it up for like half an hour about once every 6 months.
I prefer playing older Minecraft, older betas.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
the
I
new Minecraft with the Java edition or whatever, with
mhm.
all the skins and
Oh,
packs
the
and
Bedrock edition.
coin and the yeah the bed
The
it,
marketplace is just such
the and
like
I'm
slop.
just like,
Yeah.
I just want Minecraft.
Yeah.
I don't want all this slop.
I don't know. All the new stuff they've added to the game arguably is makes the game better. Like it's all
Oh,
good stuff. It's all good
I would love
content.
to just boot up some native
And if you're
Minecraft
just
unmodded,
if
no
you're the
slop.
type of person who likes to play with mods, then it's like all that stuff is good anyway. They like a couple years
I've,
ago put out a really big update that like doubles the the depth that you can dig into the
mhm.
ground. It adds a bunch of like massive caves and biomes down. It's like really good. The problem is it's just like they just won't let the game fucking be.
Right.
Just leave it alone
Well,
for
and
a
then
little
there's,
bit.
unofficial mods that give a infinite skybox so they can make as
Yeah.
ginorm,
And there's it's just like they it feels like
megalophobic structures.
they keep updating the game and adding stuff in for no reason other than at this point there's the expectation that they do, it
Yeah.
seems. So they just keep adding shit and it's just
Like
like
there's never a final version of Minecraft.
yeah, and I kind of wish there would just be a final version of Minecraft. It's just
I don't
like
think
move on to something else.
I mean, when they've all said and done, that's when they finally move on to Minecraft 2, whatever
Yeah.
that
Well,
means.
they've tried to do like what like Minecraft Dungeons
I think
and
that's what it is. I don't think there's a Minecraft
uh
2. I think it's just
they did I don't even remember what it's called. It was like another
spin-offs.
Minecraft spin-off survival, but it was like a survival game a few years ago that kind of I heard it's okay. I
Minecraft Dungeons, the
I don't remember what
roguelike, that looks
it,
cool,
yeah.
you know.
But
Story
yeah,
mode. And then
I
a
still
Minecraft movie with Jack Black and Jason Momoa,
you
and
know
then a
I
couple
s-
no names.
I still like Minecraft. I would rather play Skyrim.
Skycraft.
Skycraft.
Well, I played the Skyrim
Uh,
Minecraft map that
Yeah,
came
the
out uh it was
yeah.
like the official one. But
If I'm gonna play a nostalgic game, I'm gonna play some Elder Scrolls or some Doom or something like that. Uh, I saw
yeah.
one person online. They were they made a good point. They say Minecraft is a game that the most exciting point in any playthrough of Minecraft is right when you load up a new world and look around.
Oh yeah,
And then from that point on, it's just a race until you get bored.
right. I've
But
seen some really good horror mods that I look like I
oh,
would download, mess
but
around with for a bit, and then be like, oh, that's freaky, and then
there's one that came out a
but
few years ago I saw on YouTube, and it's like the idea is it's a mob that spawns in caves, and it's a mob that will um like it's like supposed to be really rare, and what'll happen is it'll like just like watch you
oh,
from the distance,
that's
and then when
creepy.
you look at it, it'll freeze, and then like depending on how you react, it might just fuck off or it might attack or something like that. It looked pretty
Mm.
cool.
I saw one that was like kind of an analog horror thing where like you're playing a cursed version of Minecraft
Mm,
and it's just off. And then of course, like as you're caving and stuff, you start seeing faces in the dark and whatever, and
yeah. Well, I mean,
just off things happen in music.
I think
But
Minecraft is a game that lends
it's
itself
a fun sandbox.
really well to like mods that just make it a little creepier.
Now, when are we getting a Gmod movie with Jack Black?
Oh my gosh.
The
I think it would be amazing if Jack Black just became the go-to
arbitrary, just like
like
player character, right?
yeah.
He
I mean,
just
I'm down for that.
like if a
He,
game doesn't have a definitive like
just any
character, just throw
yeah,
Jack Black.
any video game adaptation
Yeah, yeah.
that doesn't have a definitive like established character.
So
Dark
that could,
Souls, Jack Black.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Skyrim, Jack
Yes.
Black.
Yes.
Gmod, Jack Black.
Jack Black.
Uh, Just every single game where you either have can create your own character or
Hmm.
there isn't really a character, it's Jack Black.
Now, the first thing I want to do in Elder
Doom,
Scrolls,
Doom, Jack Black. That's who's under that
yes,
helmet.
that yeah. Um, the first thing I want to do in Elder Scrolls 6 now,
Jack Black.
yes, I'm gonna be
That's
a. He would be a Nord, right? Either a Nord or an Imperial.
I
Just
think
whatever race I can make it look good. I would say Nord.
maybe maybe
Depends
a
which like aesthetic.
yeah, I
If you're going
mean
to current Jack Black, it would be Nord.
yeah, he's a big beard and all that,
Yeah.
but maybe a Breton.
No, he's not Breton.
Well, he is shorter and
Uh, I guess younger Jack Black could be Breton.
yeah.
Short hair Jack Black, Imperial.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
School of
feel.
Rock Jack Black is definitely like
Yeah,
yeah,
Imperial or
Imperial.
Bretonish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, no, yeah, Shallow Hal Jack Black would be Breton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Anyways, Jack Black. He's a um, he must be protected at all costs.
Yes.
Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, there's no good way to segue
The
into
elephant in the
it.
room.
Nintendo Switch 2 was announced.
And uh, I'll let you just go off your first impressions of like the hype to it, the
Hmm.
announcements, and then I'll go
Yeah.
on mine, and then we get the aftermath.
Uh, the console itself and the quality of all the stuff that's going with it seems like it has met, if not surpassed, most people's expectations.
Agreed.
But
Asterisk.
it's very expensive. Every and honestly, I will defend the price of the console itself a little bit, assuming it doesn't go up because of all the tariffs, because that's a whole thing,
Yeah.
and they've delayed uh, pre-orders in the US because of it, but also Vietnam is like actively negotiating the tariff situation right now, apparently, and that's where most of these Nintendo makes their shit. So
Hmm.
we don't know what's going to happen there. I'll defend the price a little bit and say it seems like the specs for the console are on par with the rest of the PC handheld market right now, and the price is also on par. So I personally would not have a problem paying that. However,
So
I also think that Nintendo's bread and butter is being accessible family friendly consoles, and I don't know how that's going to go over for them.
I I have no problem with the price of the
Yeah.
console of the system. 450 for essentially um a Steam Deck competitor, or perhaps even above that, like ROG Ally,
Hmm.
and basically a PS4 Pro handheld
Yeah.
powerhouse that can be played on your TV or monitor and then taken and played on the go. That's what the Switch does. And with the mouse functions,
Hmm.
you
And
know, that
they're
looks really
saying,
cool. Like I could imagine just having it at my PC setup, having my
yeah,
Switch, and then I could just play it like a mouse and
that's
basically
that
like a
sounds
PC.
awesome.
It's like a PC. It's doing something no other PC handheld's doing and giving you the mouse, almost the mouse and key,
Yeah.
like a mouse and
And
key like controller hybrid, something
they're
never
saying
been done
like
before.
there's a
Well,
few
the
things
Legion
that
Go, I guess,
oh
but
yeah.
that doesn't even.
But and they're doing a few things with it too that I think stand
That's
out.
like a $800
Um,
portable
and
PC. So that
apparently, what I've heard specs wise, it's pretty on par with the Steam Deck, but apparently, if when it's docked because it has more of a power source, it can it's supposed to perform better that way.
well,
And then also the
up to 4K, up to
up
120
up to
FPS.
4K.
And that's
And yeah, they have the 120 FPS variable refresh rate, which is really good.
mhm.
That's really, really good. And
It allows you to push
that's
for a little more on
twice the resolution of the previous Switch, even the OLED screen. And I'm hearing a lot of people who got to try it out say like, yeah, maybe the blacks in the OLED screen are a little bit more like vibrant, but for the most part,
a
it
bit
looks
brighter.
just as good as the OLED screen because of that variable 120 refresh rate.
Right. And if
Um,
you trade that off and
and the
you know,
higher resolution and all that.
I just know that they will release the
Yeah,
OLED edition at
they'll
some
have an
point.
OLED edition that's $600 or some shit like
And
that.
maybe that's why they did it in the first place, because that
Yeah.
would be too much to ask for. Um, so yeah, I mean that's a very fair
Yeah.
trade-off. Um, and
So the
then
console
also,
itself
yeah, the console
is
itself
looking
is
really
reasonable.
good.
And then $500, and this is going to bring us into the next point of discussion, but the console itself, 450, and the bundle with Mario Kart World is
Hmm.
500.
Yeah.
Uh, that's okay. Okay, that's reasonable, especially for, the market it's in now. That still, if you're looking for a new console and you haven't gotten one in the last 5 years or so, you're not getting a console every year. If you're looking for a new console, here's your options. If you're just looking for a new console, if you're not just an enthusiast, a PC gaming, if you already made it, you got your foot in that door,
Yeah.
you don't really care. But if you're just looking for a new console, your options are like an Xbox S, which are being faded out. You can get that for like 400. Um, a PS5, which is being phased out for the PS5 Pro, which is $700. Yes, PS5 Pro, you're going to get the best graphics and performance you can get on any console, but it's locked to your living room
Yeah.
or to your monitor. Um, but you're going to get the best graphics and performance. You're going to get GTA 6 and all that. Switch 2, it's more of a balance.
Hmm.
You get the console TV experience, but you can also take it on the go. You still get really good graphics and performance, not the best, but still on par, and you can play third-party games such as Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah. And
Um,
and it's the talk around town from developers is that um it sounds like Nintendo is pushing more to not just be a Nintendo machine. They're pushing it for it to be
you won't,
an
yeah,
actual
you won't have to wait
console that you
years.
can like access other games. Borderlands 4 is going to come on launch apparently on it.
You won't have to wait months or possibly years for a port of a third-party game. It's gonna
Yeah.
come out on release,
Yeah.
more than
FromSoft
likely.
is putting out an exclusive for it.
And I definitely have thoughts about that. When they revealed the trailer, it's the Dusk Bloods,
It's
which is all, well, there's an asterisk with this one as well, okay?
yeah.
But Miyazaki's directing it, and he intended it for it to be a Nintendo partnership with the Switch, and so he's been excited for this. But it's the Dusk Bloods, which on the surface all looks like Bloodborne 2, but a name.
Yeah.
In this weird
Seems like
cyber steampunk-esque vampire
yeah, there's a
gothic
vampire
Bloodborne
aesthetic to
looking
it.
game. You know, it does look like probably what Bloodborne 2 was gonna be on the surface. And
Hmm.
then you have like a steampunk guy in a jetpack, but then you have like a cyber ninja, and then you have a vampire guy. But it's and like trains, but then gothic cathedrals. Uh, However, it is not a traditional Souls-like in the sense of PvE with some PvP. It is
Right.
kind of in the vein of Elden Ring Night Rain, which is, that's interesting that they're immediately doing another multiplayer title when they
Yeah.
haven't
Nin
tested the waters with Night Rain yet.
Nintendo's really
Um,
pushing the multiplayer stuff with this Switch.
yeah. Uh,
They want this thing to be a multiplayer
and I have thoughts
console.
about that. Um, especially with the online with the chat button, the C button.
Yeah.
But the Dusk Bloods, rather than be, it's gonna be different than Night Rain too. It's gonna be, I think, phrased as, I have it pulled up here. Um, wait, PvP, PvE. Yeah, PvP, PvE title with online multiplayer at is its core.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna, it's not like Nintendo players are gonna get their FromSoft
No, it's
exclusive,
got
like
an
Bloodborne
asterisk on it.
exclusive.
Yeah.
It's still gonna be a different type of game. Yeah, it's gonna have
Yeah.
similar combat and stuff and
There is going to
bosses.
be Elden Ring on Switch too,
Well, yeah, I mean, you'll get that.
which
But
honestly, that sounds like a pretty good platform to
so
play that
no, but
on.
I'm definitely, I mean, very excited for Dust Bloods. I'm excited what they've been cooking here. This just came out of nowhere. No one, there was no
I mean,
rumors
maybe if
about it.
anything, it'll just give the Bloodborne fans, even if it's not
Just something to,
a traditional Souls-like, it'll give the Bloodborne fans a little bit of a something to chew on to go,
yeah.
this is what a Bloodborne 2 might kind of feel like.
Yeah, and it's also Bloodborne fans. We're inhaling all the copium over
Just
here.
just remaster it,
Got
bro.
nothing. We
Just
had
remaster it.
nothing for the 10-year anniversary. Nothing, and
Yeah.
yeah, no signs of a port, no signs of a remaster, remake, etc.
Just do a
Just
PC
a
port. God
port
damn
would
it.
be so. Yeah,
That's all they want.
my theory and the main theory is that Bloodborne is either going to be just left in the annals of video game history forever and just stuck on PS4 until that's faded out and then just lost forever,
Yeah.
or it's going to have a remake when the PS6 launches,
Right.
a la Demon Souls
That
remake.
that that's another kind of
And
thing.
that's what people are hoping for. But
That's another thing. So like the Switch 2 is like so for me personally, I'm still pretty excited for it. But it's largely because my gaming situation is PC/slash Steam Deck and Nintendo. Nintendo serves as my main home console
yeah,
experience.
more the
So
fun play with
so
friends, with your
this
girlfriend.
to me feels like for me it feels like it makes sense for like this would be my next home console type of thing. The other thing that like why I think it's interesting timing for the Switch 2 to come out because I think a lot of people think it's only we're pretty late into the PS5 generation right now. And a lot of people I've heard kind of think that maybe we only have a few more years until they announce a PS6.
No, but Nintendo has its own
So, that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, you can this with this console coming out, you could buy this, or you can buy a PS5. With the asterisk of the PS5 being in a few years, you might need to buy a PS6.
yeah. Well, an asterisk on top of that asterisk is you buy a PS5 Pro for $700, which will then be
Yeah.
made irrelevant
And it
in
doesn't
a
come with
couple
anything. It doesn't come
intuitive
with the controllers, and you got
three,
to
four
buy those
years.
still.
Yeah,
It
a
doesn't
lot of
come with
asterisks today.
anything. Don't get me wrong,
Anyways,
PS5 Pro looks phenomenal,
yeah, I mean that's
but
about as close
mm,
to like,
that's
oh,
a
you're
premium.
like a PC gamer
Yeah.
now, huh?
Like that's a the PS5
No,
Pro is
but
a premium and that's not an entry level console. That's
honestly, I want to save up for the Radeon 9070.
ooh yeah. Yeah.
PC gamer here. No, but but not with these tariffs though. It's gonna,
Yeah.
it's gonna be as much as the
Give us
5090,
enough time and
and the 5090 is gonna be a mortgage payment.
yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, I've had people like, in all seriousness, people being like, depending on how this shit plays out, is a PS5 Pro gonna be $1,000?
right.
That's a
Yeah.
real situation that people are
That's
considering.
actually reality. Anyways,
Um,
um,
just sell all your
let's
shit,
okay,
emulate.
but let's go. Yeah.
Put on your pirate hats.
Emulate Bloodborne. I'm very close to trying it. I just got to figure out how to get a safe version of the. I'm not even gonna say it. Anyways,
Yeah,
um, which I heard you can actually with mods and things, you can run
yeah.
it at 60
But
FPS
you
at high
you gotta
resolutions.
be willing to, sing some sea
Sail the seas.
shanties and all that.
Sell the seven seas. But anyways, going back to the actual games, okay?
Yes.
So we got game reveals, obviously Mario Kart World, and yeah, it looks good. It looks like
It looks fantastic.
The Forza Horizon of
Yeah.
Mario, like with
And
open
and
world,
and
with
for $50 with the bundle,
that's a good
it's
deal.
reasonable.
That's a good deal.
I
That's
mean,
cheaper than New
I would
Game.
argue 50,
That's
sixty
cheaper than
dollars
New
is a little
Games.
bit too expensive for any kart racer.
Well,
I I
I will defend it. I will defend it a little. I was hating on it when I in our conversations before, but I will defend it a bit. With the bundle, a $50 price tag, I think is actually a pretty good deal considering
yeah.
it's a got the open world aspects now.
Yeah.
Like we don't really know what that looks like. Is it gonna have like quests and missions like we
Yeah. It's got
like
what, like
like a Forza
24
Horizon
player
thing
multi
where you
like
like a career
races.
mode like where you go like do like little challenges and find
Yeah.
secrets, find
There's
costumes, different
24
characters.
player races in it, which is double Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, and you're gonna
Um,
uh, the course. So they have the traditional cups,
mhm.
but then they also the new thing is that you do a course, then you travel to the next course like on the
Yeah.
highway, like through the open world.
I mean, it sounds cool, and $50 is reasonable, but if you don't get it with the bundle,
And the whole battle royale mode
oh
thing looks
yeah,
cool.
yeah, it's
Um,
like every lap or something like that, the last player gets
yeah, if you're
booted.
not in 16th place or whatever, whoever's not, you'll get
Yeah.
knocked out.
So
That looks cool.
as the race goes
No, it
on, the
looks a
number
ton of
of
fun.
racers
No,
thins
it looks
out.
like a ton of fun. And it's got vibrant cut. There's photo mode and it I heard some surface level complaints like sometimes it feels a little too easy because it's so wide. The roads are so wide
Oh,
because it has
right.
to accommodate for all the players. So you're not really getting
Yeah.
knocked off all the time because
That makes
you,
sense.
you'll get like hit by an obstacle or something, but you're still on the road.
Traditional Rainbow Road, old school Rainbow Road would be a nightmare with 24 players on it.
God.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, just the narrow, but I heard it's wide in the open world spaces. Then it starts to close in and narrow in when you get onto an actual course.
Right.
So that's cool. But yeah, the asterisk on this one is that without the bundle as a standalone digital title, $80. $80. So
Yeah.
Nintendo, okay, you're
Oh,
pushing, and this isn't the only $80 title, by the way, but
no.
you're
No,
pushing.
seems like it's going to be the norm for Nintendo games now.
Well,
Maybe.
kind of on some games, but you're pushing for $80 games now. And if this works, which there's been tons of backlash, people saying drop the prices and everything.
Yeah.
But now with the tariffs, people are saying just keep the prices. But
Yeah, just don't
with all
raise
the
them.
with the backlash and everything, but depending on how this all turns out, this could set the standard for the industry,
Yeah.
and
That's
games will be 80 to 90 to
that's the real
$100.
that's
You
the
know,
real troubling thing is I
we
mean,
just now barely accepted $70 games, like,
yeah.
and that
The
still
the
burns.
silver lining is it seems like at least at the moment for the Switch 2, third party publishers are not jumping onto the $80 thing yet.
Not yet. Yeah,
So it
they're
seems like most of the third
60 to
party, it's
$70.
just like the Nintendo ones that are gonna be 80
Your NDs will be
bucks.
like 40 to 50 and then
Yeah.
it's 60 to
So,
70.
but yeah, I
Um
mean, if Nintendo just gets away with this, then
but yeah, $80. And here there's another thing.
I mean, Rockstar
With tax,
is watching from the other side of the road right now,
with
just seeing how
sales
this goes
tax,
down.
you're talking about another extra $10 on top of that, so basically $90.
Yeah, and then the physical copies are going to be $90 base. They're charging an
Yes.
extra 10 bucks for physical copies. And
And
apparently the physical copies aren't all going to actually just you're still going to have to
some
download
of the
shit.
games are only gonna have like 2 gigabytes a cartridge.
Yeah,
Like if you buy the Cyberpunk 2077 cartridge, you're gonna have to download the rest of it off the Nintendo store.
that's yeah.
So you're basically buying an unlock key. You don't own it. It's not yours. You're
Yeah.
buying a license. And yes, that could be the case on digital as well. There's arguments on that. But
Yeah.
technically with digital, you could still download that to a drive.
Yeah.
And
I have a 500 gigabyte SD card in my Nintendo Switch right now, and I have
yeah,
most of my games downloaded.
yeah.
So if my
Uh,
internet went out, if the Nintendo shop went down, I still have access to my games.
uh, Now physical games used to be, the go-to for preserving games,
Yeah.
for ownership, for consumer rights. You actually own the game information, even yeah, without the patches and updates and everything is on the disc or on the cartridge.
Yeah.
But that's not always the case anymore. And that hasn't been, I mean, that's not just Nintendo. Xbox has been doing it a while. PlayStation, like you buy a copy of Fortnite on disc, you're just wasting plastic
Yeah.
and
I
you're
mean,
wa-
I'll be honest, I don't buy physical games anyway, so it doesn't affect me that much, but still it's
no, but for the
yeah.
purists, for the um uh, preservationists of, physical games, that burns.
Yeah.
And it's just it it's like if you bought a vinyl record and then you just get the download code and the record's just a decoration.
Just a wall hanger. Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be yeah.
That's essentially
But
what that is. Like you play like it's or no, it's just a single. Like it looks like the full album, but you just have the single and then here's the download code
yeah.
for the rest of the
But
album.
the games look good though, despite the price.
Oh,
I mean,
the
Donkey Kong looks
that's my
cool.
most I'm most excited for
Like
that one, I
I
think.
didn't I didn't expect them to put out a Donkey Kong 3D platformer that actually looked interesting.
I'm glad they're doing that instead of another 3D
Yeah.
Mario
Yeah, but it looks really good.
with destructible, almost fully destructible environments,
Yeah.
and uh, it just looks fun and
Yeah.
just running around as Donkey Kong, and it's basically Mario Odyssey, but Donkey Kong with destructible environments
Hmm.
and better processing because
And
it's on the Switch too.
and it looks
And
really good.
yeah,
They're doing and this one's I'm excited for
Metroid,
this. Yeah,
Metroid Prime 4
there's that too.
with the mouse controls look so good.
That's gonna be cool. I
That's a
did
game
see
changer.
a few other YouTubers who got to go and actually check out the console, got to try it with the mouse control. They were like, it's really good. Um, they I they're doing GameCube games on the Switch Online
Yeah, and that's another point of
Pass.
contention.
Um, I think that's
Didn't
cool.
surprise me, but I'm glad we're getting GameCube games, but like,
Yeah,
why not just people would buy them again and just download them without getting
yeah,
a subscription.
yeah.
Having it how their old games library locked behind a subscription just rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. They could just release them as a standalone thing, and people would People would absolutely pay money for that. I mean, although I'm sure Nintendo would jack up the price. I'm sure it'd be
Oh God.
$40 for Wind Waker,
Yeah, it's like, do we really want that?
not even like a remaster, just um
Yeah, do we really want that?
and they're doing the I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically the tech demo instruction manual for the Switch 2 that they're going to be charging for.
Now, okay, talk
Hmm.
about really rubbing me the wrong way.
Yeah.
PlayStation 4 and 5, Sony included Astrobot, which is a wonderful tech manual,
Yeah,
fun
and just a
little, oh,
good
get to
game.
know your controller, get to know the PlayStation, and just wacky little fun things. And then they ended up making a whole full platformer on it, which I still have yet to play, but
Apparently
I
it's
definitely
really
want to play
good.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I
But now
saw
Nintendo
I
is charging what, $10
I
for
don't
like
yeah.
which would have been, it would have been like, oh, that's cool, that's nifty thing you like do when you're bored.
Well, I watched
Or
Wolf Den on YouTube. He's one of the guys that got to go actually play
oh yeah,
at their press release thing, and he was
like
just like, I tried it out. It's really boring and kind of stupid. And he was just like, I'm gonna be totally honest. I can't recommend anyone pay anything for this
you're
because
paying for an instruction
it's
manual.
literally like it's not even like Astrobot where Astrobot was quirky and actually kind of fun. It's like no, this is just an instruction manual.
Our Aperture desk job on
Yeah,
the Steam Deck.
it's like this isn't where the Aperture desktop was like a tech demo too, where it's like showing off what you can do. It's
This
like
is
no,
what the Steam Deck can, and
this is literally just an interactive instruction manual, and apparently it's really boring and lame.
the fact they
Like
had the charge for that.
yeah,
That
that should be a pack-in. Like
And that's where I'm just like, okay, you're not even trying to hide your greed
yeah,
anymore.
that has that yeah.
Like Wii Sports. Yeah, they ended up charging for the different versions and stuff, of course, but they were
Yeah.
elaborated on. But like the original Wii Sports came with the Wii, and it was a
Yeah.
hit. And that was a console seller. Like people in retirement homes were buying Wiis. And but then your boring instruction manual that shows you how to use your new Joy-Con. Uh, and oh, this is how magnets work. Uh, is 10 buckaroos.
Yeah.
That's
It's
wild.
it's it's a
Uh,
little ridiculous. Either way, I mean, overall
Also, you have to
it
pay for their
looks
own version of their shitty version of Discord.
yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't that impressed by the. Oh, it's like, oh wow, Nintendo finally supports voice chat. Wow.
Yeah,
Thanks for being 20 years
that
behind
needs
everybody.
that
God,
should be yeah, it's something they
that's
should
just
have done with this
embarrassing.
last Switch.
And it's so cringe. Like
I mean,
who really wants, like, yeah, we're looking at each other, but we're friends, right? But who
yeah.
wants to see each other's faces all the time when you're playing Mario Kart? I
Have a
don't
little
know.
camera next to your Switch so they can see you. No. No.
Especially also another live mic on a system that you have to
Yeah.
make sure that's shut off.
That's yeah. Uh,
That just creeps me out.
I mean, overall, the console looks really good, and
No, yeah, yeah,
I'm
it looks
still
great.
excited for it, especially because, like I
I,
said, the Switch is my main.
is there any game we're missing?
Uh, those were the main ones they talked about. They
Oh,
announced.
here's another topic, the upgrades, the Switch 2
Oh
upgrades.
yeah,
Another it's kind of expected because other companies have done a similar thing, but
yeah,
it was like Sony. Well, okay, so Breath of the Wild is coming to it, and Tears of the Kingdom, and their big flagship titles,
yeah.
and you get a Switch 2 upgrade, which you basically get, and this is what you get with the upgrade. From what I've seen, from what's been described, and from what I've seen, it's not a full-on remaster or anything like that.
No.
You basically get just unlocked FPS and higher
Well,
resolution.
well. So. What they're doing,
That's what it looks like to me.
so what they're doing is only a few of the games they're charging for.
Okay.
So Mario Odyssey, for example, is not going to be charged. You don't have to pay for the Switch 2 upgrade.
Okay.
It's just some of the games. So Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom being the ones off the top of my head that you will have to
Well,
charge.
they know people
I
will.
think there's a couple others. And my
Like
understanding is the
$30.
ones they're charging for are supposed to have some new content.
Okay.
So
Well, that's
like
fair,
so
I
like in Tears
guess.
of the Kingdom, one thing supposed to come with it is so you can save when you're building shit in Tears of the Kingdom, you can save your
Oh yeah, you
things.
could do
They're supposed to be like you can
the QR
share
code thing. That's cool.
between people and stuff like that. And there's supposed to be some new stuff. I don't know how much new stuff, so I don't know if
I mean,
for
yeah,
an
I mean,
upgrade is going to be worth
how
it.
much is new content
Um,
worth?
the other thing is that if you have the Switch Online expansion pack, you don't have to pay for the upgrades.
That's okay. Okay.
So
That
it's
softens it.
not, it's still with an asterisk. We'll see how
It
much
it
worth
it
it
rubs me the
is.
wrong. No, that's just not it's
But
not just a Nintendo thing. For me, with backwards compatibility, I
mhm,
think when you put an old game into a new system, I think it's a no-brainer that it
yeah.
should run better.
Well, that's what they are saying with so
That's why
most,
I love the Steam Deck, or that's
yeah,
why I love PC, because you can, without mods, right?
just
Because mods, yeah, that's getting into actually changing the textures and
yeah.
changing assets. No, I'm talking about just the ability to have it run at a higher frames and better
Hmm.
resolution. And to tell me that if you put in Breath of the Wild into the Switch 2 or your digital version, but it's not the upgraded version, so it's gonna force run
Hmm.
it at a lower resolution and worse frames. Basically, force that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
It's
that's like an
and
arbitrary like, oh, you're just again
and I
paying
guess
to unlock the
it is, yeah.
frames.
And I guess there is so there's a list of games they have that are gonna have a Switch 2 version, like an actual official
Yeah,
upgrade that runs natively and all that. And a few of them you'll have to pay for unless you have the Switch Online membership. Um, and apparently those ones that you have to pay for will have some new content, but I will say an asterisk depends on how much new content and what exactly it is on whether I think it's worth it. But the nice thing though is they're saying most Nintendo Switch games will run on the console. So if you anything you have on the Switch One, whether it's physical or digital, you should be able to download that and run it on the Switch 2, no problems, with the exceptions of some ones that like make very specific use of the Switch 2 Joy or the Switch 1 Joy-Cons, like the ARMS game and stuff like that. Those ones won't be compatible.
yeah.
Um, but like what I did read was interesting, though, is that technically the old Switch games will be not technically running natively. They will be more akin to being emulated on the
Mm,
console. And, but from what I've heard from people who have been able to try it out, they're saying like you don't notice the difference. And they'll be able to, so the old games will be able to take advantage of the higher frame rates and the 120 hertz screen and all that sort of stuff. So even if there's the games that don't have an official upgraded version, you should be able to
mm,
still download your old Switch games and run them better than the Switch could run them, which is
that's good.
nice. So
I mean, that makes sense.
yeah, that would be I mean, that would be a breaking thing for me if I couldn't. I have a bunch of games on the Switch, and if I couldn't download them and run them, that'd be stupid. I,
But all gripes aside, but basically before prices were revealed, uh, in fact, I guessed that the Switch 2, I was like, it's gonna be 400 to 500. I was like
yeah,
five high, four would be low.
I think the
And
price of the
450, that
console,
was like right in the middle where I guessed.
I think the price itself is very reasonable. It's
It's a
on par.
jump
It is,
for
yeah,
parents that got their kid the Switch 2, I mean the Switch OLED, or no. Just their standard Switch,
Yeah,
what, 300?
300 is the standard Switch,
Switch
350 for the
Lite,
OLED,
350
200 for the
OLED.
Switch Lite. I mean
Yeah,
that's the
especially
thing.
if you got your kid a Switch Lite and thought that was the
The
norm.
pricing is on par with what I would expect for the hardware. I personally, as someone who's into that, I think it's reasonable. I It'll be interesting to see how well it sells though, because you're gonna have all those family, like those parents who bought their kid a Switch Lite on Black Friday for
Hmm.
150 bucks.
Right.
And
Or
now their
less.
kid is going, "Hey,
But
mom, dad, this new Switch is coming out. Can we get it?"
yeah.
And they look at it and it's $450.
Yeah.
Those parents are going to
And
be like, "What
that's
the
without
fuck?"
any games.
Yeah.
500 just with Mario Kart. At least
So
you can get a group of people to play Mario Kart together. At least
yeah.
that's a game that people can play together.
Yeah.
Um,
But
and
so for
also another thing, and because this isn't really a Nintendo thing, I mean they've slowly introduced it, but a lot of people, me included, use my PlayStation or our console as a streaming device
yeah.
for our entertainment, for movies, shows, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Is Nintendo gonna do any of that?
I hope
Hasn't
so.
been. I mean, yeah, it's a
Uh
gaming system console at first and
there's a couple
foremost.
apps you can download on the Switch, but right now, but there's not very like
It's limited.
you can watch YouTube on the
You
Switch,
can get YouTube and
which
like
is
Hulu, I think.
yeah, something like
It's
that.
limited.
But
Is it gonna if it's gonna I think it's gonna have all that. I mean, yeah, with smart TVs you don't really need it, but I think you should have it. You should
mhm,
have your Disney Plus on there,
yeah.
Netflix. Just have your app peripherals. Just so like, hey, this could be a full-fledged
I mean,
family entertainment.
I know someone who their kid has a Switch. They don't have a TV in their living room because they're just not really a TV family. And
Well, yeah, I mean,
so
you could be
that's
that
just how
too.
they are. So it's like, but they're not against watching TV. They just don't
Yeah,
really, they just don't. That's their lifestyle. So it's for them, it's like their kid has a Switch. So for a family like that, it might be like it would be really nice to be able to watch Disney Plus on your Switch or
yeah.
HBO or something
No,
like
yeah,
that
I think it
because
should.
it's like maybe you don't
That's another
use a
thing to
TV very
consider
often.
because I think weighing your options, you might be willing to spend a little bit more on something that can do everything for your
Hmm.
entertainment. Um, Also, I haven't seen this in the discussion, but I mentioned Switch Lite. Switch Lite 2.
That would be cool.
Switch Lite with performance of Switch 2. I don't know if that's
I
possible.
don't know.
Uh,
They pulled it off with the Switch One, which was
Even if it
surprising.
just locked at 60 FPS, but the
Yeah,
form factor of the Switch Lite, because the Switch Lite, honestly, that's my biggest regret of selling.
yeah.
I miss my Switch Lite. That was
That
my favorite version of the Switch,
yeah.
honest to God. Yeah, because most
It's
time I
really
play the
good.
Switch portably. I don't play the Switch on the TV a lot.
No, yeah.
I
I
rarely
have
do.
mine plugged in
And
by my desk here, but I still mostly play it portably,
yeah,
you know.
of course, I like the bigger screen and everything. But the form factor of the Switch Lite, just something it can kind of basically, it can fit in a cargo short pocket, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because I have my Steam Deck for the bigger screen, the heftier, beast. Uh, and yeah, the Switch OLED is beautiful. But the Switch Lite just
Yeah.
lights like a
What
croissant.
one thing
Comes
I
in
am
fun
pleased
colors
one
and
thing
just
I
can
am
fit in your
pleased
pocket. I love it.
I've heard with the Switch too is that so it's larger screen, which everyone is saying that tried it out saying it looks really good
Yeah.
of the larger screen, but they kept the thinness
Hmm.
of it, which I think is nice because that's one of the things like I know you kind of disagree with me on this. The Steam Deck is awesome, but it's a little bulky for my taste. Like it's
This,
super comfortable to hold and play,
yeah,
but it's a little on the bulky side. I mean, it's not too bad.
it's not as
It's
portable.
still nice, but like the Switch sometimes feels a little bit like more
You know
portable,
what?
I guess,
You
to
know
me.
what?
Like
For me,
I'm more
it's
likely to put my Switch in my bag than
it's
my Steam Deck because the
it's not
Switch
the
can fit
depth.
into a
It's not the
thinner.
it's not the thinness. It's the I think the height of the actual Joy-Cons of the I think
That's a
with
good
the
point
bigger
too. Yeah.
screen with the taller Joy-Cons, I think the
Hmm.
Switch 2 will solve that problem for me.
Right. Um,
Um,
I just like the Steam
but I
Deck
love the
is
grip on the Steam Deck.
like the Steam Deck's super comfortable to play, but I'm less likely to put this in a case and throw it in my bag than I am with my
Right.
Switch. And it's just because the Switch being thinner can have a smaller case,
Yeah.
so it can go in my bag easier.
No,
This
no,
thing
no.
has to accommodate the
It's
Joy-Cons and the
I
grips and or
I'd
not
rather
the
travel with
thumbsticks
the
and the
Switch.
yeah.
Plus, I don't feel like I'm gonna accidentally leave it on and then it's gonna overheat and then start a fire
Yeah.
in the airplane, start smoking or something.
Yeah.
Um, and
Although
but
although I did travel with the Steam Deck once, I did go
I've traveled with
I went through
mine.
the airport with my Steam Deck once, and let me tell you, playing
Just gotta be
Spider-Man
careful. Yeah,
Remastered
it's awesome.
on an airplane was pretty damn cool.
For
Um,
me, the Steam Deck though, I like how it rests in your hands. Yeah,
yeah,
it's got a little more weight to it, but it rests in your hands. I love the grips, and I have a case on it that gives it a little extra
I had a
grip
case on
to
mine, but
it.
I dropped it and the case broke.
Well, it did its job,
It did its
right?
job, yeah.
Whew.
And then I dropped it again, and now sometimes my
Uh-oh.
fan makes a weird noise, but that's
Uh-oh.
okay. It still works. Shh, don't worry about it.
Well, if it breaks, you can get the white edition,
Yeah.
which looks nice. But anyways, uh, yeah. Anyways, closing thoughts.
Um,
Yeah, I'm excited for the Switch 2. Who knows when it's actually gonna release now? But I'm excited for the
well,
Switch
they
2.
said the release date has is unchanged. They're
Okay.
delaying pre-orders, which means that they're still the price is not set.
Yeah.
That's what that means. But they
I'm
have
hoping
Nintendo has said the release date is unchanged. They just pre-orders are supposed to start for most people on the 9th.
aluminum foil hat conspiracy time. Do you think the price was considering, all the baloo and all the news considering tariffs and economics? You would think
Mhm.
so. That it's not just they're pricing this thing in a bubble isolated from the world, from,
I think
paying attention to economics.
I think
Um,
they might have priced it expecting some of this, but I don't think they expected all of
right. I don't think anyone
it.
did. But
Yeah.
uh
Um, but
and that's
there's a lot of
what's
uncertainty right now because like I mean I think one the reason they delayed the pre-order instead of just raising the price is because I think they're unsure. They're like we don't know if the price if we're gonna have to raise the price or not right
also
now.
another arbitrary tinfoil hat kind of thing. Um 10% 500 10% of 400 would basically be $40.
Yeah.
Add that 10% to 400, you get 440 plus tax 449.
Hmm.
That's the base price of the console. Add
Yeah.
another.
And you know what? If the price had to go
Maybe
up
it was
like
originally going to be 400. I mean, the arbitrary
yeah,
450 feels weird.
yeah. And
They've
you
always
know,
done a clean like 299 or
yeah.
199,
But 49.99
like in
or
the
four
right in the
hundred and
middle.
forty nine dollars and
Yeah.
99 is weird. And you know what? If the price had to go up $50 or something like that, that's not the end of the world. But it could be go up $200. Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
You think
At that price, I'm not buying it.
no. Oh, no, I wouldn't buy
Like
any
absolutely
console
not.
or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy with my Steam Deck. I'm happy with my PS5, even though I
Yeah.
haven't done a whole lot of gaming on it. And I'm happy with my PC, which has been a lot of my gaming lately. But and I've been playing the Indiana Jones game again.
Oh, nice.
And just to I'm not that deep in the story because I took a long break from it. Not not that I was disinterested in it, but it just wasn't the type of game I was interested in at the time.
Yeah.
But if you actually play it, get cozy up and have a cup of coffee or something and play it like the pacing of an Indiana Jones movie. Like don't
Right.
just optimize everything, speed run it. Don't, like pace it that way. Like if you actually have patience and you actually soak in the scenery and
Yeah.
like really puzzle out things and don't just rely on the hints. because like the game has a mechanic like if you keep taking pictures of different statues and artifacts around the environment, it'll give you more hints. But
Right.
you can just not do that and just try to puzzle it out and figure it out.
Nice. Nice.
So if you, I think if you slow it down and pace it out, it gives you a more authentic experience.
Yeah. Nice.
And I fought the late great Tony Todd, the
Oh,
giant version of him.
yeah.
He was already a relatively big man, but I got to fight him as Harrison Ford. Well, not really Harrison Ford. Uh,
Uh,
Troy
Troy Baker.
Baker as
Yeah.
Harrison
I
Ford.
heard Troy Baker did a really good job.
No, he does a good job.
Yeah.
It's solid.
But anyway,
All right,
I
well,
don't really have any
better
other
wrap it up.
thoughts. The Oblivion remake is edging everyone.
Yeah, is it real? I don't know.
Who
Have we
knows?
just been on a wild goose
They
chase?
they did ZeniMax did remove the trailers from a bunch of their games on Steam, but then they put them all back up except for Oblivion.
Hmm.
This happened yesterday, which doesn't really mean anything, but people are it's I've been following like the Reddit Oblivion Reddit page, and it's really funny because everyone's just like there was one comment that's just like, man, if I keep edging like this, I'm gonna die of dehydration.
You guys almost sound like the Bloodborne
Yeah,
players.
the
Just
all the Oblivion fans are just like they're all just it's just the you go onto the Reddit page for Oblivion. It's just
yeah,
all jokes about how everyone's going insane.
right.
They're just like, stop doing this to us.
Here's the thing. If it happens, it happens. I'm buying it. Um, without hesitation buying it.
Yeah, I want it.
But if it doesn't happen, we have Sky Oblivion.
Yes.
So
So
it's not gonna burn as bad,
yeah,
as bad as it would have normally.
yeah.
Uh, unless
Anyway,
Bethesda sends a cease and desist, then we're truly in the dark timeline,
yes,
um, and all hope is lost.
yes.
And then the true protests can begin.
It'll be like Harambe all over
All the
again.
all the fedora tilters and neckbeards can come out of hiding and storm Bethesda's headquarters.
Oh,
Release uh released Oblivion or free Sky
Free Sky
Oblivion.
Oblivion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways.
I think that's all that we have time for.
Yeah, that's about it.
So until next week, or next time, or whenever another episode comes out.
All right. Bye.